Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Firstline Checks In. This is a series. In this series, Firstline Securities is touching base with our clients, and in this case, our principal, just to understand what the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has had on the client business, their personal life, etc. So, without further ado, this morning I'm going to be chatting with Keith King, who is the chairman of Firstline Securities Limited, and I'm gonna ask him how have things been going with our own business, Firstline. Good morning, Keith. How are you today?
I'm fine, Alicia, and I trust that you are going well as well. I know that you are at home, as am I, and things have changed quite a bit from the times when we were all at the office. We are all now self-isolating as things go. So that is how the world has changed very, very, very rapidly, such that we are all operating from home. Our business is a function of our client's business. So when I answer the question how our business is going, I have to look to how our clients' businesses are going. And globally, we are in shutdown mode. So I suspect that most businesses are looking to survive this period and are planning as to how they will ramp up when this period of lockdown is over. So it's like to be a period of consolidating a lockdown mode and surviving this period, and also a period of reflection as to how we are going to ramp up once it's over, which may be some weeks away or it could be some months away. So we are working from home using electronic methods. We are fortunate that we had the capability of doing so before. We had a few staff members who, even before this happened, were working remotely, so that we have some minor practice in this. So we are coping. But we don't want to be complacent, because the reality is nobody knows for sure how this thing is going to entirely pan out. You could conjecture that a number of businesses that are going to benefit from it, certainly those businesses that are on our electronic platform, have a better survival possibility. Businesses that are in basics, food and so on, will of course have to survive just to feed the nation. Although I know that the demand has reduced materially, and I saw both in the USA and in Trinidad, there's a prospect of some agricultural produce going to waste because of diminished consumption. So even that area hasn't gone unscathed. But we all have to adjust a lower rate of demand and survive this period.
Yeah.
So I'm confident we'll come out of this just like how we came out of the 2008 2009 downturn, and we'll come out of this one too.
Happy to hear that, Keith. And Keith, as you were speaking of our business, I just wanted you to clarify a little bit, because I know that the Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean knows you as a banker, but you speak about your business. So just for those people who knew you in your in most of your professional life, can you tell them what you actually are now?
Oh boy. Um, who I think I am and who I am, and I'm not sure what it is. I still think of myself as a banker, but because I no longer work for a bank, I'm certainly not licensed as a bank with a central bank. We are licensed as a broker dealer with the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. So now I have to say that I'm a broker dealer. But there are very few people, except those who are in the business, who understand what the term broker dealer means. Often enough, when I pass through the airport, people would say, ask, "Oh, so you come, what is it you're selling? You're a broker? What is it you're selling?" And just to cut the old talk, I would normally just say I'm a businessman. I'll just record on the form, the input form. Oh, I'm a businessman, and that you get through relatively easier that way. Keep it simple. But I really think that I was born to be a banker, although I'm not licensed like that.
Right. Good. 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 Wonderful to hear. Um, so you said that Firstline has been working remotely, which is great. I mean, I'm part of that, so I understand that our transition has been relatively smooth, which is a good thing. Um, what are some of the helpful coping mechanisms? Can do you want you do would you like to share with our viewers some of the things you recommend in terms of transitioning to the remote work strategies?
Well, normally humans cope via routines. And in this period, most everybody's routines have been broken up, and that in itself is a source of stress. Um, for those people who have different types of personalities, some people can't sit still and they need to be out and about, and so they may have different stresses and so on. But for me, I think if you can have some way of exercising, for those people who are accustomed exercising, that's a source of stress release. If you could bring yourself to reading during this period, could also be a source of stress relief.
Right.
um, I think doing something about your circumstances or planning to do something about your circumstance is the major source of stress relief. I've always felt, and of course, I am not a medical person, so I don't can't say that you can take what I am saying with more than a grain of salt. But I've always felt that the source of people getting ill from stress is
Mhm.
when they are not able to deal with the situation that they find themselves in, and they feel overwhelmed. So my source of dealing with that is to plan ways of exiting whatever the source of stress is. And once you have come up with this a strategy, needless to say, the strategy may or may not work, or it may work partially, like most things. Um, you can then focus on executing on that. And I think that in itself is a major source of stress release, in that you have a plan and you're working the plan and you imbue it with a certain amount of confidence that you are going to execute in this plan. That saves you a lot of just imagining what could happen and what wouldn't happen, which is a source of great stress. If you focus on what your plan is to exit whatever the problem is, and we all have problems,
Right.
so that's my major strategy for dealing with stress:
Um,
planning a way out and executing on that plan.
excellent. I mean that just speaks of years of experience and is extremely sound advice, Kate. Really happy that you went that route. Um, and for you, are there any positives that you're seeing coming out of the COVID-19 experience? I've been hearing lots of stuff around, but just in from your point of view, what would you see?
Well, I think that there are certainly some people who would do well from this. I've heard that those retailers who have the capacity to deliver product online are ramping up their staff count and so on. I think a lot of the electronic learning, distance learning, things that were out and about for a long time would now become the way of learning. Even medicine is going to be benefiting from that. Just today, I was hearing that many people don't want to go into the hospital because they view the hospital as a source of disease rather than a source of cure now. So those people who can benefit from distance medicine, or for instance, if you want to deliver, have to deliver your baby, the long time method of using midwives and so coming to your home, that is back in fashion,
Yeah,
right? Just people wanting to isolate, and so um, the delivery business, the computer business, the communications business are all things that I suspect would would be great to be in at the moment. Even automation and artificial intelligence, it seems as if the world is obsoleting humans getting together.
yeah,
So this is leaving a opening for artificial intelligence to executing because, well, I was going to say that machines don't get sick, but of course that's not quite true because you have the situation of viruses that can infect computers as well. But nevertheless, the point is that those people who are able to mechanize their businesses are likely to do well because you don't have or have already mechanized their businesses. They are likely to be able to continue to operate because they're not relying on humans who can infect one another with this COVID-19. So it's
right.
a world that many people would have imagined, and certainly when I was a little boy and reading a lot of science fiction, a lot of these things may be coming to pass, and those people who were prepared for that, and even if you weren't prepared for it, it's not too late to embrace the future. That's the important thing. What humans were able to change over the millennia, millions of years, and we are going to survive by continuing to change. Nothing, well, there are very few things that stay the same other than God. Most everything else, you have to expect a certain amount of change from it. And once you embrace that change and embrace that life is a risk and you have to accept the risk and look to benefit from the risks, you should do well. You will fail with some things, but you will also succeed with some things. And once you succeed more than you fail, or you have some big successes, great, great for you.
That's really fantastic advice, Keith. I mean, as I say, your experience and and knowledge just comes through. It's really been a pleasure. But wait, before I go, tell me what is the first thing you're gonna do when all the restrictions are lifted? What is the first thing you're going to do?
I'm gonna start by playing tennis. That's one thing.
But you know,
I'm running onto the court.
I can imagine.
But anyway, yes. Well, it would be good to meet my friends and staff and family. Those people who you're only able to see on a screen, to be able to see them and hug them and say hello, have a meal or drink or whatever with them, and celebrate the fact that we made it through and we are alive and well.
Correct.
Celebration might be a, a post-COVID celebration with your friends and family, that would be something to do. In the meanwhile, what we have to do is to continue to talk to people on the telephone, talk to people on whatever video capabilities you have available to you on your phone or your computer. Just continue to do that and keep in touch, so that your people don't forget you. Um, and that there is a risk of that for those people who have children and grandchildren far away, and they wouldn't have had the opportunity to interact with them personally, and it gets even worse now, their electronic image.
Right.
I'm sure many people would love to get to see their families in person, and many people would be rushing off to do that if they could.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
I
think
wish.
your plans are very similar to mine, except for the tennis part. I think the first thing was going to be a family line, and in the office we are going to have an office. I just know we the first week won't pass, and I promise cake and pumpkin soup.
Oh, very good. Very. I'm looking forward to it already. Oh boy. The wicked Alicia. Now you are getting my taste buds all riled up. But you know, we
Geez.
at Firstline eating a family. Firstline family is a eating family, and there's nothing that they like more than eating together. So
That's
I know
correct.
that will be a big thing once we get back together. Looking forward to that.
Definitely. Wonderful. So, Kate, any other words of advice before we go? You've given a lot of advice, I have to say, so you don't need to say anymore, but you really have. But if you have any other little nuggets of wisdom that you think we should know, feel free.
Well, one big one, well, a couple of big ones, patience
Oh, yeah.
and pray.
Yeah.
Don't forget God in all of this. And I am hopeful that many people who have had the opportunity to calm down and not be rushing around with life, of which I might be one, by the way, appreciate that slowing down and reflecting and having opportunity to spend time with your maker. Um, that there's a lot of to be said for that.
Right.
Peace, mental peace, spiritual peace is could be a big win out of this period.
Thanks. I agree with you because I have to say that although Easter was not spent in church, one of the comments that one of the priests made was that we know people didn't come to church, but there's now a church in every home. And I felt that on over the Easter weekend. I felt it with the lighting of the candles and the palms and everything. So you're right, the spiritual peace has really been wonderful. I do agree with you, and I think it's a wonderful message for everybody out there to grasp those very important things that we don't get time to focus on. So, thank you very much, Keith. I mean, this has been a wonderful conversation, and I wish you all the best. Continue to stay home, continue to stay healthy, and
Yes.
continue to stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alicia, and the same with you. I wish you and your family that you all also stay home and stay healthy.
Thank you.